It's recording now. You can start.
Yes. So the timing will be 30 minutes now, sir, for presentation.
Yep.
Yes. A pleasant good afternoon for all. The day of festival Makara Sankranti, happy Makara Sankranti for all. With the lights of this festival, we'll also start to know what exactly happened in Kodagu during last 5 years. And is there any chance of those kinds of incidents happening in the future? So once again, a warm welcome for you all. I would like to present my work, which have been done during my engineering. So named as catastrophic analysis at Kodagu and conservation of its biodiversity using biological but biotechnological tools. So I was very humbled and was very grateful to Dr. Shobhaji and Dr. Soumyasi, who is an assistant professor, Department of Biotechnology, Subtechnical College of Engineering, and also Mr. Prashant Kumar HP, who is also assistant professor in BMSc College, Bangalore. So my name is Kaushik. I am currently as a project assistant in Indian Institute of Science in Ecological Science Department. Just a moment. Yes. Yeah. So coming to the introduction, I basically would like to highlight upon the Western Ghats, since the district which I have studied is also in the Western Ghats. So we have 6 states in the Western Ghats. So in that, my study region lies in the Karnataka's Kodagu. So generally, the Western Ghats stretch with a length of 1,600 kilometer with an area of 1,60,000 square kilometer. And we have Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala at the south, and at the north we have Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Goa at the north of the Western Ghats. So coming to the Karnataka, we have Uttar Kannada, Chikmagalur, Shimoga, Kodagu, and Belgaum, Hassan, which is popularly known as Malnadu, where the Western Ghats is spread through. Apart from this Uttar Kannada or the districts here, we have Dakshin Kannada, which is also a coastal region where we have a Western Ghats region. So these regions are popularly called Malnadu. So coming back to the Kodagu. So Kodagu is a place where I live, and I have been close to all the aspects of environment in my districts. So the Kodagu is a small district which covers around 4,102 square kilometers. As of 2018, the Kodagu had 3 taluks. Now the 2 more taluks called as Ponnampet and Kushinagar had joined. So as of now, it is 5 taluks in Kodagu. So coming to the cultivations, we'll be having coffee. So Kodagu is a coffee hub, and then we'll be having a cardamom and a paddy. So coffee and the paddy is one of the major crops. And then we have aconite. And coming to the floral diversity, the Western Ghats is one of the highly biodiverse, and is also one of the 8 biodiversity land in the UNESCO. So we have around 436 floral species, which comes under 92 families. And we have 464 bird species, which belongs to faunal species. And then we'll be having 800 animals, which belongs to 1,170 families. And coming to the mountains, like we have Tadenda Mall, which is the highest peak in Kodagu and the third highest peak in the Karnataka. In the Western Ghats, we have Annamudi Hills, which is around 2,600 odd meter, which is highest peak in the Western Ghats. And we have one more, that is a Pushpagiri Hill. It's a Pushpagiri wild bird sanctuary. It is the second highest peak in the Kodagu, which accounts for 1,712 meters. So let me introduce catastrophic disasters that had taken place in Kodagu during 18 to 20. So first, it was all began during 2018. During the summer itself, we received excess rainfall from April, and the situation got worse as the rainfall increases as the season progresses, right from the June, July, August. All the 3 months during 2018 received excess rainfall, that too in particular in August, which received 1,675 of rainfall just in 3 days. That is from August 17, 18, and 19. And 16th and 17th are the 2 days where lots of damages took place. And then it was followed by 2019 and 20. The initial period of the rainy season seemed to be a drought situation, which then flourished in a matter of 24 hours. And as a result, we got within 9 days, we got 935 of rainfall. And then within 10 days in 2010, we got 647 of rainfall. So the figure 1, which is in the Madikeri town where the house collapsed, while in the figure 2, it is Hebetegeri, a village which is one of the worst hit village during 2018 floods. And coming to the figure 3, that is a Tora village in Virajpet, where the studies showed that around 1,000 tons of the mud had fallen from a kilometer of 5. And then we have Talakaveri, which is also one of the prominent disasters that took place in 2020. So where the 5 people, including a main priest of the Talakaveri, died. And then there's one more record. During 2018, around 300 of rainfall was recorded in August 16, which was highest until the 2018. But in 2020, within 24 hours, Bhagamandla had received 486 of rainfall. And that was the same day where the Talakaveri landslide took place, and that stretched upon 5 kilometers. And it was estimated that there are 771 landslides alone in the Kodagu during 2018. Hello, am I audible?
Yep, you are. Hello, we can hear you
Yes,
fine.
thank you.
Don't worry.
And yes, and then coming to estimated losses, we have 3,000 crore losses alone, that too just in 3 to 4 days. So this is that how unstable the region is. And every rainfall or every monsoon seasons, around 70 plus villages are highlighted as landslide prone. In that Hebetegeri, Galibidu, Mondangeri, these are the small villages. Jodpala are the red listed ones. So coming to the what may be the reason, the first is obviously rainfall, excess amount of rainfall within a short period of time. The history tells that the average rainfall for August is around 1,600 for entire month. But in 2018, we can see that within 3 days, we received 1,675 of rainfall. So that says what exactly the situation at that time. And then obviously slope failure. And this slope failure is according to the construction of roads, homestays, uh, multi-story buildings, deforestations. Because the slope failure is not just only one thing here. We have illegal activities and tourism. So tourism is other, which is also promoting the damage. So why we specifically speak about deforestation is that over millions of years, over thousands of years, these forests which are intact, the evergreen forest, the deciduous forests which are intact without any fragmentations are getting fragmented. And with the construction activities and the development activities going ahead, and the soil becoming loose and loose, and the barren soil getting exposed to the sun, the soil gets loosened because there's no trees to hold those soils. And the other thing what I observed during the study was we witnessed heavy rain during the April and May, like pre-monsoon rains. So we'll be having heavy rain during afternoon, and then soon after next day we'll be having good sunshine, hot day. So where the rate of evaporation increases, where the soil gets patched up, the cracks build up. Soon after the next day, the same day, we'll receive once again the heavy rain. So the patch, rather than being closed, it gets open up. And with that, the roads where the cracks develop, like for example, the recent had been gone to Nishani Hill. The Nishani Hill is one of the hill that have been shown where more than 20 landfills alone had occurred in that part of the hill. That too had kilometers of stretches, more than of 1, 2, 3, or 5 kilometer of structures. So that's what hurts here, because we know that what exactly the reason is. Everyone knows, obviously. But the problem is that the local people living there, they're unaware, or they don't know what exactly they should do. So that is what I tried to assess in my studies. So objectives was to understand what are the causes of landslide and to carry out the surveys in the local people to understand whether they're aware of what are the causes, what may be the reasons, how they could mitigate, or anything they can take on their own without depending upon others. And then obvious, we know that indigenous saplings, planting drives, and maintaining those plants will also help to mitigate floodings. But again, the planting does alone can't just mitigate, because even the plants which we plant, we should assess that whether that plant is capable of holding the soil. And then also came across that before we plant the trees, it is convenient to plant the grasses, herbs first, because they will strengthen the soil, and then if you plant those trees, it is helpful the further. And then a small review on how are the plants and animals that are native to these regions are conserved using the biotechnological methods. That is ex situ method. And then in situ, again, we have 3 sanctuaries, which we'll be discussing further. So some of the environmental conservation acts we have Wildlife Protection Act in 1972. Then we have Biodiversity Protection Act in 2002. And then we have 2 prominent reports that is called as Gadgil report, that's Western Ghats Ecological Expert Panel, and Kasturirangan report. These are the 2 reports which actually gone core deep into the Western Ghats to check what exactly happens there, what are the ecological sensitive regions, what should be done, what should not be done. But unfortunately, due to various reasons, these reports is not implemented. So coming to the conservation, so we'll be having 2 methods, like in situ and ex situ methods. So we'll coming to ex situ method. Ex situ is that we will conserve those threatened species outside their natural habitat, like we have zoo, seed banks, tissue culturing, cryopreservations, gene banks. And then this is actually the in situ method. This method has slightly disadvantage that it requires more area, which is facing some problems because of the growing population, growing demand for food. But we have national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, sacred groves, And Kodagu is the hub of the sacred groves. And sacred groves is one where we find lots of intact forest, where we see lots of diverse organisms. It might be the plants, insects, animals, birds, everything. Yes. So here we have conservations that are being taken in Kodagu. So I'll come for sacred groves first. Sacred groves, which also called Deva Kadu, that in Kodava language, or Kans in other Kannada language. Devara Kadu also is called. So this forest has a belief that has been carried out since a long time, that there's lies a god, so we should not hurt those forests. If we hurt that forest, we will get hurt in turn. And this belief had been significantly carried out from a long time. But nowadays, the number of sacred groves was also decreasing, which is also a matter of concern. So, according to Kushalappa CG and Raghavendra in 2012, they reported that there are around 1,214 sacred groves in Kodagu, which means there is at least one sacred grove in each village of Kodagu, and there are more than 50 villages where we find more than 7 sacred groves. And the area it covered is 9.1 square kilometer. And then we have 156 species alone in the sacred groves, and also wood plant families, which account for 47%. So this comes under community reserves. And then we'll be having sanctuaries like Brahmagiri Wildlife Sanctuaries, Pushpagiri Wildlife Sanctuary, and Talakari Wildlife Sanctuary. So these sanctuaries are very dense forest. It consists mostly of evergreen forest. So this patch is very, very sensitive to the external activities. So this region in particular is a matter of concern, because this region, like we have Talakari Wildlife Sanctuary, there is a recently a proposed highways from Talakaveri that crosses to Kannangere and to the Kerala, Karike, where it passes through very, very dense forest, very sensitive regions. So if such kind of development which are taking place or to be taken place in these regions, then we are not so far that we might see the 2018 once again, or the Joshi Mata of 2023 that taking place in Uttarakhand is also can be seen in the near future. So coming to diversity, we'll be having elephant, gaur, wild dog, deer, langur, porcupine, squirrel, mongoose, etc. Then we have one national park, which is closer to the Bandipur National Park. So this covers an area of 643.39 square kilometer, which is established in 1955. Again, it is also a diversified park. It comes an in situ national park. So looking at this, the humans are taking some measures to conserve the natural resources, but the measures that we are taking and to the rate at which the catastrophe is taking place is of a lot of differences. So each and every person in the earth should know that these habitats should be conserved, not only the region that is protected, but also the other, because each and everything is interrelated to each other. If one gets damaged, the other gets also affected. Coming to the ex-situ conservation, this aspects have not much dealt, because this has a disadvantage that it requires lots of skills and lots of manpower, and it is hard to implement in the districts like Kodagu also, because again it requires lots of amount. So we have botanical then arboretum, seed bank, pollen bank, which comes under the ex-situ conservation. So in that we'll be having in vitro technologies where we culture those, we preserve the genetic materials so that we can understand what are the behavior, and also to conserve in the ex situ conservation we can regenerate that. For example, plant tissue culture is one of the widely used, especially in the agriculture sector, for bananas. So plant tissue culture is one of extensively used method for culturing of banana that is helpful in high yielding bananas. And growth restriction culture, this is mainly because to ensure that there won't be any overgrowth. Restricted here is in maintaining an optimum growth. And then we have transgenic plants. So this transgenic plant has not the suitable method for conservation, because transgenic itself, we put an exotic species or the modified, genetically modified one, which is again a harmful one. And then we'll be having gene bank, cryopreservations. We have zoos, capitative breeding, aquariums, which all comes at ex situ conservations. So some examples of the utilization of tissue culture for the conservation of plants or regeneration of plants that are endemic, endangered, rare, or threatened species in the Western Ghats or in the Kodagu. Some work had been done. So we'll have Rulophia serpentine. This is also called a Sarpagandha. This is getting endangered. This is because the loss of habitat, loss of deforestation. There is a, it has a very important significance, or it is a significant plant because it has a very good positive effect on snake poison. It was suggested, or I had read that this plant root can cure of snake poison whenever the mongoose which fights with the snake, and there is a chance of getting bitten from those snakes. So what do these mongoose do is go and eat those roots or so that they get cured off. And then we have Glossaria superba. This is a national flower in Zimbabwe, and again it is a native plant too in these regions. We also call it the glory lily, fire lily. And this plant is a medicinal also, but if it is handled improperly, then it is a neurotoxic. Then some of the animals that are conserved through cryopreservations are as follows, like leopard, lion, red fox, tiger, etc. So now, with this background, I have been surveying the peoples at Kodagu, mainly in the Madikeri, because that's the place where I live. So with the aid of Google Earth, I came to know where are the locations that had damaged a lot. So that I had said like Galibidu, Hebetageri, Monnangeri, Jodpala, Tora. Tora is in Virajpet. So we have made representative models that are shared in the YouTubes. So the YouTube video mainly helped us to reach the people, because we can't carry the models for all the houses, all the people. So for that purpose, we made a representative model which exactly represent what exactly happened in those situations. What are the reasons that took place for such a catastrophe, that landslides? And then questionnaires and surveys. This is one of the key aspects that I followed, because this is the one way where we can understand what exactly the people thinks, what the people knows, and we can record the data too. So this picture I have taken from Hebetagiri village. During my survey, this was a third landslide I observed there. Previous to this, I had also observed two more landslides. There around 5 to 10 casualties alone occurred in one particular landslide, and this is one took me out of the mind by looking at it. So this is what the Hebetagari looked before slide in 2018 Jan. This was the source I got from the Google Earth. So we can see that how intact the area was, and the region was also involved in the coffee plant cultivations. And there are, like I'm highlighting the arrow there, this is like a paddy fields. But this entire region within no time got collapsed in just a minute. So that is what here we can see. So like this slides was interconnected with the other slides. Like the first slide that was witnessed in the Kodagu was from Udaigiri village, which is in Makkando, that is comes in this part. So this region has mainly experienced such a landslide that's mainly because of underground water pressure, heavy rain, since the population was got less, the soil got very saturated such that the threshold limit for holding the water in the soil got crossed, and with that of the gravitational pull and the underground pressure, this resulted in the explosion of those regions in such a way that the people would say that the region got completely exploded, like we throw a bomb which exploded to more than a 200 feet height within no time. And so the entire green cover gone into a brown patches here. And this area is where we have conducted a plantation drive, and luckily the plants over there are coming good. And this was how it was looked during Jan 2022. So we can witness that the region is getting better with the green cover, but still there is a lot of work to be done so that this situation may not arise again. And this is what I spoke about Udayagiri. So this entire part accounts for around 2 acres of coffee estate or a coffee land with bananas or cardamom. So there are lots of houses residing here, like the arrow where I'm cursor where the I'm showing there are lots of houses. There was a road, newly built road, and there was one house here. The entire house got collapsed, and there is a path. As I show the direction of the path with the help of cursor. So this was the path that I traveled to visit the villages, and this part there are 2 to 3 houses and only one house where the people resides, and there are 2 or 3 houses over here. And this region is also once again susceptible to the slides if the situation arises once again. So this is how the Udaigiri looked during 2018. So this is the point where I highlighted in the Google Earth to understand how it was in 2018 Jan before the landslide, and post landslide it was appeared like this. So the people used to say that the water level in these regions was standing to the height of an adult ercanet, that may be around 50 feet. So that was hardly to imagine how the water stored. And also the people were saying that during those situations, the gates of Harangi dam was closed for some days until it reaches a threshold, and then they left, which also resulted to a flooding situation downstream of the land dam. And this is how it was during March 2022. And the one thing I observed with these surveys that the slides wherever had occurred, because within 3 years, that 2018 to 20, so wherever there is a human interactions, like clearing the path or or again trimming those slided area to make it stable, those are not regenerating. That is because while landsliding, there are some parts of the plants which are viable so that they can regrow. But what happened here is when they were start to use land movers, they also take that, and also there is high chance of making it more unstable rather than making it stable. So that is what we need to understand whenever we do something to these kinds of regions, because this region is not of the boulders. This region is mainly of the clay soils, where it gets saturated very well and then starts to flow in similar to the water. And this is one of the popular destination of Kodagu, Mandalpatti, where in 2021 we also witnessed the blooms of Nilkuranji, which blows only after 12 years. That's once every 12 years. Okay. And this was how the Mandalpatti road, the color which goes through the Galibidu in 2017, because I didn't get 2018 image here. And this is how it looked after landslide. Again, I didn't found the satellite images during 2018, so I got a recent one after that is at 2020, and again we can see that the extent of landslides over there. So this is how it was looked in Jan 2022. And the presentation of mine is mainly to reach more of the people, not only to the Kodagus people or the people residing in the Western Ghats. We need to understand, because one's action is not only beneficial or harmful to him or her, it's beneficial or harmful for others. So looking at that aspect, we try to launch videos in social medias, and one such we used is YouTube. So I have created a YouTube channel where we worked on it. We have around 7 to 8 videos. So I would like to try to show if the connectivity is good here. But I request you to watch those videos, because it gives a clean insights, a clear insights how the people over there struggle. Because I took an interview in the Udayagiri and the Habitatagiri villages, because I could go only to that part, because my work was mainly involved with the help of cycle, because I used to ride my cycle for around 30 to 40 kilometer per day. And since I have economical issues, I couldn't afford a vehicle so that to reach more people, but still I interviewed around more than 300 people over there. And this is the interface of a channel, and this is the name called Chigurudiro Sasyakashi. That means growing plants here. So this is a videos that we have uploaded, and this video consists of the work that have been recently done during April 14, that of plantation drive. And here we have some examples of flowers that are grown in the Kodagu regions. And I would like, and I will be very happy if you all go to this video, so that I'll be get some energetic and also some of the feedback that you will be giving to me. And also I need lots of help from new people, because I can't do this work alone. I need lots of support. As of now, I find only few people who are ready to help in this cause, even though they are local people in that region. They will say that we can't do anything, because I have interviewed a person in Makandur, and they said that if these works of awareness, creating awareness, or helping others, caring the nature, is good if others is done, not by us, because there involves a risk of doing this. But if all the people join their hands, and then we may not completely reduce or cease of these disasters, but as we can minimize. So these are some of the results that we got during a survey. And that in this part we understood that most of the people were unaware that what exactly was the cause of those catastrophes. They just say that it all made by the rain, nothing else. But actually, the cause is that of increasing tourism, growing population, migrations. That is because the people at Kodagu who had ages of experiences of being there is not there, and the youngsters like us, due to the economical crisis and the economical crisis, yes. So we are getting off from the region, and the knowledges that had been stored with the elder ones is being vanished with them. If we are capable of understanding those knowledges and transfer those knowledges to youngsters, I may assure that we will secure those regions. And the one more thing is that over the questions which I asked was the climate change is hampering the lots of people. Yes, they said yes. But when I asked what would be the reason, they said it is unknown for them. It's just a climatic conditions. That is where we are lacking in the information, because we have lots of sources, we have lots of informations, but this informations, like we publish lots of research articles, reports, surveys, but the people who have a limited knowledge, for example, they'll be having regional knowledges, but and also they'll be knowing what exactly they can do so that these slides or the greater truth won't take place, but they can't implement. That is mainly because of lack of help or a support and of the technologies. So when people who are known these technologies, they should not just publish their articles and say that they have helped us out, but they should reach to the local people, remote areas, so that they can understand and they can try on themselves, because these landslides won't give an alarm that I'll be sliding here and you need to evacuate. It's a matter of just like we hear a thunder sound all of a sudden and done. And that's what happened here. A 5 kilometer stretch of a landslide doesn't take place for an hour, but it takes just a fraction of seconds. So then that the people over there will be knowing that this might be a dangerous place to be here or not. But they are under serious pressure that they are not supported by the governments or the during the times. These kind of actions is not a short-term actions or measurement. They should take for a long term. So that is what I highlight here, that not only the youngsters, but all those people who know these aspects should reach the most of the people and try to understand, to try to make understand the people that what they can do. And also I would like to highlight that the people who are willing to work for their region, they should give a priority. But I observed a lot of people, a lot of other sectors, they used to say this is nothing gonna happen, it's just a time waste. I experienced a lot of people saying that we can't do anything to this, you can look out others. That belief need to be changed. Yes, this is one of my prominent work over the period of my work. So the first plantation drive was carried out on March 10th and then followed by 14th April in the Vadagiri and Hebetagiri. We planted around 100 saplings, which is prominently found in the Western Ghats, and also we ensured that the people should not cut that, but they should be beneficial. For that purpose, we have planted the important trees, which also aid environmental benefits and also to the human benefits. For example, Garcinia gummiguta, it is one of the highly medicinal plant. It's a extract that they will be getting a fruit, which is also commonly called as kachpuli in our language. So this particular extract is very costly and it has very significant in the daily needs. And then we have soap nut, we have neem trees, but we ensured that we won't plant any exotic species like silver oak, acacia, eucalyptus, because these are the species that can thrive at any region and they uh, inhibit the survival capacity of other species. So concluding that with my models that yes, we all require the earth so that we be living in harmony. But as I see that probably the nature may not need the human if we do those things that hurt nature. Because since a long time, uh, the people were not here. Only recent years, like around 100 million years, that we have evolved. So that is what the conclusion says, that nature doesn't need people, but people need nature. That means if we live in an harmony with the nature, then there exists an equilibrium, there exists a cycle, there won't be any imbalance. But if we keep on exploiting the nature, then there is a serious threat. And I also would like to highlight one point that I don't know will it happen or not, but still, from my past 20 years of my experience at Kodagu, I had observed that for every 5 years, the rain intensity will meet its peak. That's, for example, during 2008, we observed that entire Kodagu, especially the Virajpet sector, had got flooded. And then coming back to 2013, that 2013 is a highlighted part of Uttarakhand where the entire Uttarakhand had drenched with rain and the floods, and only one thing survived, there was a Kedarnath. So there was a huge cloud burst during 2013, and even in Kodagu, and as my knowledge goes, it was the first time that I observed a cracking of road in the Kodagu during rainy seasons. And then 2018, that was a remarkable year, the changing year, because that was a year where the rain intensity got to the peak such a way that no one could understand what exactly happening within those 3 days. So with that knowledge, I think this year may be the peak rain season. And also the recent visit to my village Galibidu, I had observed two more landslides at a height maybe around 50 to 100 feet. The two new landslides that had took place during 2022. So which resembles that the Kodagu is in a condition of unstable, which means that these regions should be kept as such without disturbance. And there were incidents that was highlighting, that is, the border of Dakshin Kannada and Kodagu is witnessing a series of earthquakes right from the July last week to the August first week. And around 10 earthquakes had occurred with a magnitude ranging from 1.6 to the 3.3. And with that aid, there was a cracks developed. And looking at this, so there is something a lot bigger may happen if we not understand what exactly need to be done. By saying this, I will be concluding my talk, and I would like to thank all of you for listening the talk. And I hope any suggestions, any questions, and also I would like to have help from you so that I will carry this research forward. Thank you.
So thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Are any questions? Does not look like there are any questions.